This is Mehak Saleem, and today I'm presenting my case study one. For the purposes of this case study, I will be calling my client Brian. Brian is a 3-year-old boy who was referred by his parents for engaging in tantrum and aggression. He lives with his mom, dad, and his dog. He currently goes to a preschool for 4 hours every day. He has 10 words which he uses to communicate with. He has a history of engaging in some aggression, some slapping and shoving, and he did bite a peer once at school. He engages in whining and tantrum behaviors. To assess the function of Brian's tantrum and aggressive behaviors, the behavior analyst conducted an FBA. The functional behavior assessment consisted of one informal interview with parent, direct observation, and functional analysis screening tool. According to the assessments, Brian's aggressive behaviors were reinforced through negative reinforcement in the form of escape from social interaction. So he engaged in aggression to get away from people or having to interact with his dog. His tantrum or whining behavior occurred due to positive reinforcement in the form of gaining access to tangibles or help. He would engage in whining or tantrums to get help from mom or to get access to a preferred toy. The violin was conducted to assess Brian's developmental level to find an appropriate intervention plan and risk replacement behaviors for him. The client was moderately low in areas of development and low in expressive communication. The intervention plan was implemented using antecedent manipulations, teaching replacement behaviors, and consequence strategies for problem behavior. The two behaviors we identified are tantrums and aggression. Tantrum is any instance of Brian engaging in two or more of the following behaviors for more than 30 seconds. These could be whining, crying, dropping to the floor, running away, hitting, shoving, or throwing objects. Aggression is any instance of Brian engaging in punching, kicking, biting, or throwing objects towards another person. We assessed the motivating operations of his problem behavior and found that Brian's aggression were more likely to occur if he was in social interactions for longer periods of time, if there was lots of people around with him, or his pet was with him for more than 20 minutes, he was likely to engage in the aggression. One strategy we put forward was that to have regular check-ins with Brian to see if you want something or if you need space or a break. These could be done every 45 minutes by parent or RBT. The motivating operation for Brian's tantrum behaviors were if he was not engaged in tasks for long periods of time, if he was bored, he was more likely to engage in tantrum for mom or the teacher to get him something. So the strategy 2 we're putting forward was Brian should be given choices of activities to keep him busy and engaged, so there's less likelihood of maladaptive behaviors. For example, during downtime, during preschool, and at home when mom's busy, to have blocks or books or some preferred toys near him. The replacement behaviors we're teaching are using functional communication training, and these were conducted using natural environment teaching and discrete trial training by the RBT. Brian was taught to use vocalization or sign for space or break when he wants to escape social interaction. As soon as Brian uses his replacement behavior, a sign or vocalization of space or break, he would get that break from the adult or the dog. The second replacement behavior we taught him was using man training. Well, he was taught to request his preferred items. It was using either sign or vocalizations, whatever he preferred or was easier for him. We honored them both. If he was engaging in tantrum behaviors to gain access to an item, we would not acknowledge that. We would wait. And then if there was a break in the tantrum, we would prompt him to use his words or his sign to ask for an item. Both parents and RBT were taught using behavioral skills training. Dad was also taught using a video modeling because we could not accommodate his busy schedule. Consequence strategies for aggression involves blocking him if he was engaging in aggression or biting, giving him simple direction to ask for help if he needs it, um, and then waiting for him to stop engaging in that behavior. Consequence strategies for tantrums would also involve waiting for Brian to stop engaging in the tantrum. And if there's a pause in the tantrum, we would prompt him to sign for help or what he needs. Once the intervention was in place, there were some barriers that the team faced. One was that there was a lack of communication between the teacher and the analyst. She took some time to get back to the analyst about his behaviors at school, which kind of delayed the implementation of the plan. Another barrier was the parents saw a spike in behaviors once we started using discrete trial training. And for the first 10 days, we actually encountered new behaviors, including non-compliance and throwing. We used the replacement behaviors in this case too to prompt him to ask for help, not acknowledging the behaviors directly. The results of the intervention so far are that Brian is able to use 5 signs: help, more, go, all done, and it led to a decrease in the frequency of tantrum and aggressions at home. The reinforcement schedule was faded from a continuous reinforcement from fixed ratio once to a VR3 schedule during teaching sessions. Sessions were conducted for 2 hours every day. 2 months after the intervention plan was implemented, Bryant went from engaging in problem behavior from an average of 10 times a day to an average of 5 times a day. The BCBA is recommending that we continue with this plan and continue with video modeling for parents until Brian is engaging in only 2 tantrum behaviors a day, which would be age appropriate. And this is our intervention. Generalizations. So some tasks that we engaged in to generalize his replacement behavior was to train all individuals that he comes in contact with. That includes mom, dad, teacher, and his RBT, paraeducator at preschool. To maintain the skill, we are going to continue to teach a variety of words for him to gain access to escape. This could be go, break, all done, and space. So to increase the probability of Brian contacting reinforcement in his natural environment. To maintain the skill of gaining access to help intangibles. Brian will continue to receive man training on preferred items in his environment. We will be fading the intervention once he is independently requesting for items and requesting for breaks. The prompt level would be faded across when he is successful 80% of the times across 2 weeks, where we will fade to gestures. And then once he's using his replacement behaviors with gestures, we will be fading back completely until he's independently using his replacement behaviors. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time.